Right, hello, welcome to another video. In today's video we'll be talking about an update that's currently on Alpha Network, which brings forth the Pesthunter swears, Chocolate Factory editions, and Crimson QOL, and some bug fixes. Because Alpha Hypixel Network is having trouble sending me to Garden, I will be talking about the Chocolate Factory features first, since they're also pretty easy to cover. First of those changes is that now, instead of there being only 3 eggs at the same time, there are now 6. The way I can prove this is by showing you the egg twice. As you can see, here's one, and there is here. There are 6 eggs. That's the point. Okay. Another thing is that they added new thing in Chocolate menu, the Rabbit Hitman. The Rabbit Hitman gives you an option to buy up to 28 slots. First of them costs like 10,000, but the last 3 cost 28 million, 30 million, and 32 million. In total, it costs about 300 million, although I didn't do the math. The way this works is that whenever there's an egg that you didn't claim, which gets replaced by a new egg, which will now happen every 40 minutes, well, 40 minutes after the egg spawns, you can now collect it. It will give you this menu, as usually, and this effectively means that you don't actually have to AFK all that much for the thing. After a slot is used, it will be on cooldown for 20 minutes, plus 20 minutes for every other egg that is currently already on cooldown, and you can also claim all of them at once, like so. Another change is that Rabbit Shrine got buffed to be twice as strong, giving up to 40% chance to get rabbits of higher rarity, which I think includes rare and above. They changed the chocolate accessories, which have been also doubled to be twice as effective at finding their respective rabbits, which in this case is the rabbits that you haven't found yet, which is great. Another change to the shop is that chocolate dye now costs 40 billion chocolate, which is 16 times more expensive, and you can only buy 1 per SkyBlock here as opposed to 4. They added chocolate rabbit minion skins, which currently have a back texture like this. When you apply it to minion, it looks normally. So yeah, that's nice. They also added hot chocolate mixin, which is the newest mixin currently in the game. It gives you 0.05 chocolate per second and 15 pet lag up to 86 hours and 24 minutes. Another thing they did is that they added a lot more chocolate rabbits. Fortunately, none of them are divine, mythic, or legendary, so all of them are either epic or below. And they also changed some rabbits' functionality. There are some rabbits that are residents, which means they can only be found in a specific area. For example, Striker can only be found in Spider's Den, and rabbits that require finding specific eggs on specific islands can only be found on that island. For example, new rabbit Morty can only be found in Dungeon Hub after you find 15 unique locations in Dungeon Hub. And after you meet a new requirement for chocolate egg, you will get a chat message that will notify you of this fact. Another thing is that there are some rabbits that have a hotspot, and if you look for eggs in that particular hotspot, you will have 50% higher chance to find that particular rabbit, which is great. Although I'm pretty sure in one of the previous patch notes they said that they are planning to add an RNG meter, which is currently not existing. And yeah, you can select for hotspots, yeah, this button, which I previously didn't notice because I'm blind, I suppose. So yeah, I think that's it from this part. But another thing, stray rabbits are guaranteed to spawn within the 30 seconds of finding a chocolate egg, which previously was that every 20 seconds there was a percentage chance for it to spawn. Another change, which doesn't really affect me, is that you can now shift click to buy 10 levels of a particular rabbit, which works from Prestige 2 onward. They also added some descriptions to the specific rabbits. For example, Rabbit Dog is making chocolate, not eating it. And they also added base chocolate to this particular thingamagic. Another change is to the armor sets from Kuudra. How they work now is that their tiered bonus now gets increased, well, buffed, when you upgrade the armor to the next tier. I'm not gonna cover every change, but I'm gonna cover the new abilities because they have also been reworked. If you wear multiple tiers of the same set, it will consider the lowest tier you have. So if you have 3 out of 4 pieces of infernal armor and 1 piece of fairy armor, it will consider the fairy set bonus. Aurora armor no longer works with the Aurora staff, meaning that Aurora staff is currently pretty useless. With that special ability, it still, does the damage, but no longer the special thing. And now with a cooldown of 3 seconds, every time you deal magic damage, you gain 1 stack of arcane energy, which will last for 4 seconds of not gaining a stack. At 10 stacks, you will reset your stacks and fire 3 to 5 homing missiles, dealing 2 to 5,000 damage, which is affected by intelligence and ability damage. So this could potentially get pretty good, although I don't think we know the scaling of this ability. Okay, so I wanted to show the homing ability, if I succeed. Okay, so it shoots projectiles that go to, directly to enemies. It's quite hard to display because it's not exactly a smooth experience right now, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Crimson Armor now works more or less the same, except that you can also get them on a stack by attacking meal mobs with a cooldown, but mob kills will give them regardless of cooldown. Each stack gives a 0.05 swing range up to half a swing range. At hot tier that gets doubled. At burning tier, each stack will also grant 1 ferocity up to 10, which gets increased to 2 at fairy, and at infernal you also get 5% extra damage, which turns to 50%, which is actually pretty OP. Terror Armor now has a cooldown on gaining Hydra strikes, but it's still gained the same way, and you no longer get extra arrows until you upgrade armor to burning, and you will not get 2 arrows until you upgrade it to infernal, but you still get a lot more damage and also arrow speed. Fervor Armor now will grant you stacks when taking damage from a mob every 1.5 seconds, and at 10 stacks you release a Ground Pound ability, which deals damage which scales with your defense, although I have heard someone said that it also scales with critical damage and strength, not sure about that, with a radius of 6 to 10 blocks, and at Infernal tier you also release 2 Ground Pounds instead of 1, which makes it more than twice as good. Hollow Armor, I think, is unchanged. No one ever used it, and I don't think anyone will. And yeah, that's all changes to this. They have also made some changes to the items you can get from Crimson Isle, because you can now find them on Bazaar. I'm pretty sure it's all of them with the exception of Corrupted Fragments, because why would those be there, right? One of the changes I don't like about this ability is that Kuudra Teeth can be sold on Bazaar. Heavy Pearls I can get behind, Nether Stars too, but Kuudra Teeth should stay exclusive to being obtained from Kuudra, because otherwise it would ruin the point. You're gonna get X, Y, Z, all the mini boost items, including Alumina Fiber, which will be useful for some people, and this is just QOL. This not so much, because you can get so many of them. I wonder how much will they sell for. Well, 0 right now, but later. There have also been some more changes on Crimson Isle, which I can better show off here. Namely that all the Kuudra keys are now much cheaper in the terms of the Enchanted Mycelium / Red's Hand, even though they have just been much easier to obtain in the 0.20.6 update. So yeah, that's nice. You can now use Kismet Feathers to reroll the chests in Kuudra, although I doubt that's forfeit, considering those runs take like 2 minutes. But sure, it's nice to have that as an option. And they buffed Kuudra's legendary perk, which grants bonus damage to Kuudra minions from 5% to 20%, although I can't show that because I don't have legendary Kuudra yet, which is unfortunate. They have also made some changes to factions. First of those is that you can now, the faction quests should now be auto-started, even though that doesn't seem to be happening, if I'm being completely honest. Another thing is that doing faction quests for one faction does no longer reduce the reputation in the second faction, and that you can no longer reach negative faction reputation. I quickly want to see if I can still lose faction reputation. I can, although I'm pretty sure it was faster than 5. Anyway, and also one thing I forgot to mention is that you can now get up to 75 SkyBlock XP for getting reputation in both of the factions. They also added some new craftable items, the Empty Storm Bottle and Empty Hurricane Bottle. Those are used to store charges, so you can apply them to the Pulse Ring. I know what I'm talking about. Empty Thunder Bottle is crafted from 4 Orbs of Energy. Empty Storm Bottle has 10 times the storage and is 8 times as expensive. Empty Hurricane Bottle has 10 times higher storage than the Storm Bottle, but it costs 12 times as much. Therefore, I do not think this is worth getting when Storm will do just fine, or even Thunderbolts. Although when you get some charges, they can, be wasted because it has only fits so many, which can be, stopped by having multiple Thunderbolts in your inventory. So there's no reason to do that actually. You can just keep using Thunderbolts. You can now consume multiple gummy bears at the same time to increase their duration. Before I talk about Garden, which I kind of have, but that's besides the point, I would like to talk about the changes to trophy fishing. One of them is that Odger, well, this guy, anyway, will give you 20 magma fish of the respective tier after you get the particular milestone. This is currently not retroactive, but I suggested that it should be, so, go check that suggestion, give it some attention so that people can notice it. They added a new stat, Trophy Fish Chance, which, last I checked, actually scales with stuff like Renowned or Superior armor, meaning Superior is potentially the best armor for trophy fishing, but I think that will be undone because this is likely just an oversight. So, yeah, it's a stat, it is capped at 100% and it describes your chance to catch them. Pretty simple. Hotbait has gained 15 fishing speed, which is going to make it slightly more tolerable, because otherwise you would just want to use fish bait every time when trophy fishing, but this might actually make it good. They added a full set bonus to all of the trophy hunter sets, which I can probably view just here, and that grants it and that gives it a fraction of fishing speed for every upgrade star you have on your armor, and that's on the... Hold on, is that for every single piece, meaning this will give 40 fishing speed? That might be huge. Although it's also incredibly expensive, don't get me wrong, even though they did, in fact, make Diamond Magma Fish cheaper, because it only requires 20 gold, as opposed to all the previous tiers which require 80 of the previous. They buffed Gill Splash equipment, Finwave equipment, and Ifte equipment by granting all of those pieces to additional fishing speed, which is nice. They quote, buffed the regular and treasure pools for lava fishing, which I'm not sure what it means, because we don't have those values right yet, but it's nice to hear. It will probably mean that lava shell necklace is more common, you can get more stuff, and I don't know. Another thing I missed at Odger actually is that you can view how much of each trophy fish you have in fact caught by just hovering over this stat, which is nice, I guess. And there will also be a instance fight, so the whole lobby will be seeing it, message for when you catch first of a particular diamond fish, and you also claim, and when you claim the diamond trophy fishing reward here, so that will be fun when it happens. Matriarch's perfume can now be used 4 times per day instead of 2 times per day, meaning you can do 5 Matriarchs per day instead of 3. This is unnecessary because they added Hypixel to Bazaar, but it's a thing that happened. There have also been some changes to Blaze Game Radio, namely that the range has been doubled. You now get 4 extra combat wisdom and 8 extra vitality, and even when there are no players on the same channel, if you will still get half of those bonuses. Which means it's actually worth to have it in your inventory now. And if there is somebody that is on the same channel, you will receive a chat message. Okay, with testing with those wonderful people, I've come to realize that when you're alone on a frequency, you get half the bonuses. When there are 2 people, you get all the bonuses. But if there are 3 people, you don't get any bonuses at all. And, there are also chat messages that notify you of this fact. So that's great. After a couple hours here, I almost gave up trying to get in. Anyway, I'm finally on Garden, day 2. There are some changes I will talk about later. I also forgot to talk about something yesterday, but that's besides the point. So, first of the changes is that Pesthunter Phillip now has more items in his shop. We can see the accessories, which are no longer soulbound and no longer cost coins. Instead, they cost specifically pests. Which, well, I had 1600 before I got in, but no longer. One of those items is Bazaar armor, which is an upgrade to mushroom armor, which also gets triple stats at night. It also has base farming fortune, been said it will be removed. The triple stats for both mushroom armor and Bazaar armor will only work on Garden, and the armor will end up being uncommon because mushroom armor is common, so the upgrade should be one rarity higher and no more. The armor set has no set bonus, so you can easily use it with rancher's boots and still be able to get, you know, the bonus you want. They added Pesthunter's gloves, which is, well, goes hand in hand with the Pesthunter vest, which you get from Talbot, I believe his name is, which is an NPC that is exclusive to when Finnegan is Meyer. It has similar ability, although much worse. However, you can wear both of them at the same time. They added one thing called Pest Trap and its upgrade Mouse Trap, which I'll get to later. Another thing is Beginner's Guide to Pest Hunting, which works similar to Golden Bounty, in a way that it is used on an item that is already has a maxed enchantment, and it will get another tier. So, except that this one is for armor, and will upgrade Pest Terminator 5 into Pest Terminator 6, although it's incredibly expensive, so I'm not sure if it's going to be worth it. And they also added barn skin, which I guess I can show. Okay, I gotta say this does, in fact, look very cool. So we have vacuum, the cable that runs in to this thing, which is effectively our engine, but also a companion cube. Inside we have many flies, and it's also incredibly tall. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to explain what it is, but you can see the similarity, and it looks very good. The four main NPCs are located here, visitors are located here. Here we have desk, composter, visitors logbook, and I guess that is it. Yeah, okay, so last item in the shop, I think, is Hedgehog Pet. New pet, which has also been said to be changed. It grants speed, it grants more damage to pests, which means you will be able to one-shot pest even during derpy, which is nice. The second ability is going to be reworked to instead grant 100 fortune, which will increase the odds of some rare drops as opposed to just increasing the amount of drops, and it will also change the scaling, because they did change the scaling of how the enchanted crops work with pests. I'll get to it. And third ability grants 45 farming fortune, which is tripled at night to 135. They added a special menu, legacy trade menu, which can also be accessed by L trade command. In it, you can exchange legacy items to their new variants. So, for example, enchanted hay bale, which was previously 1290 wheat, can now be exchanged for 8 enchanted wheat, which is 160 times 8. Yeah, it's 16 less. 16 less wheat. And tightly tied hay bale to enchanted hay bale, new variant, which is also just, you know, like a block, so 160 times 160, because wheat was inconsistent compared to all the other crops, which meant that fly pests were the best, and wheat was the easiest crop to actually max out. And in fact, I maxed it like, I don't know, a week ago, so this is actually a nice coincidence. They added a new pest, field mouse, which can only spawn in mouse traps. And maybe pest traps, I don't actually remember. Okay, so mouse traps and pest traps are similar. Pest trap has only 2 slots, and mouse trap has 3 slots. How the slots work is that when you're offline, these pests can be caught in this trap. And when you're spawning pests, they can also just appear there. I don't know precisely how it works, but that is the gist that I got by using them for a while. Every time a pest is caught, it will consume one of the bait items. And based on which one you use, is going to determine which pest is going to get inside. Except there's a new pest, field mouse, which can only be found in this trap, and it can spawn from any. They also changed Find Flower, so that it can no longer be used in Spurnator, but it can be used as a organic matter source for Composter, although I don't know the precise value it gives, because it's hard to get it when Finnegan isn't mayor. So, okay, actually you can get different pests apparently. If you pick it up, it will quickly spawn all of them. I don't think it matters where you place them, you can place them anywhere you want. And yeah, you can have them like that, which means you can have 23 pests, and I think, and I kind of wanted to, and yeah, this is how it looks like. It's pretty chaotic. So Field Mouse has to be steered as different from all others, because it requires 100 kills to be maxed instead of 250, although it still has 15 tiers, and each of them still gives 0.4 farming fortune to a total of an additional 6, which is nice. It always drops all of the sprayinator materials, as opposed to other pests, which only have a 10% chance to drop one of them. So this is way better, and it in fact is going to make getting these things slightly easier. And it also drops 2 new items. And Dang Die, for example, is... Did they make it rare? Okay, they may have made it rare. The rare of the items is Squeaky Mouse Mat, which is a pun. First of those ability will let you set your pitch and yaw, which means you are going to be able to determine the angle at which you're going to be facing. So if I do 45 and 0, and then I left click, it's going to always point me in this direction with a cooldown of 3 seconds. This can be you can, and considering you're getting multiple of them, you can easily make it so that farming is a lot easier, and then once you use the ability you just have to not touch your mouse, even if you don't have the Sky Handy command mouse lock, which will just prevent it from moving, or you can have a mouse that, or if you don't have a mouse, that can be turned off or, you know, unplugged or whatever. So this is a very cool item, although it's very rare and unnecessary, if I'm being completely honest. Second of those items is a Reforged Stone for equipment, which grants stats. So it actually gives less farming fortune, but bonus pest chance is, you know, different. So there's that. They changed the buzzing reforge so that instead of it granting speed, which was useless, it now grants the same amount of farming fortune, which is better. They also made a change that for every 100 bonus pest chance you can have 1 more pest on your garden before it starts having a detrimental effect on your fortune, which is actually great and makes it that, well, you can just have a lot of pests, because you can get 200 bonus pest chance, I mean 300 probably, somewhat easily, which means you will be able to have 6 pests on your island before you have to go and kill them. Although bonus pest chance will increase the rate at which they spawn, which means after like 2 sets of spawns you will still have to kill them, but you know, there will be quite a lot of stuff from that. They listened to one of my suggestions, they actually listened to 2 of my suggestions, but first of them is that they added Check-O-Lanterns to Agronomy Sack, for which I love them. And second suggestion of mine that they listened to will require me to delete a pet rule, because they did in fact add a new one. You talk to a visitor in the garden. That's phenomenal. This means you will be able to either set it to a pet you are leveling or to a rabbit pet, so that you get more XP from visitors and you level up faster yourself. And then you can have another pet rule for I'm not sure if farming XP is going to work, because visitors give farming XP, or if you would need to, like, I don't know, collect a certain crop for it to update to whatever pet you will be using normally for farming, which is still probably going to be mushroom pet, I'm not going to lie. Oh, something that isn't the case in the game, but has been part of the day 1 changes, which means they will be the case when it comes to a main server, but not right now, is that Field Mouse will actually give crops as well as the sprayinator items, and the crop will be chosen at random, presumably at the same rate that their respective pests will drop them. They increased the NPC sell price of cactus from 3 to 4, which will scale with the enchanted forms of the item, and they thought about reducing the NPC sell price of Netherwort from 4 to 3, although they have currently cancelled that. They might do that later on, because their wording just implies that, but it's currently not the case. Hedgehog Pet and the other Reforged for vacuums will no longer give extra amount of crops, but will instead grant more farming fortune against the pests, which means that will again work on the rare drops as well as working with the crop drops, which now scale with fortune differently than previously. You pretty much multiply the amount of crops by your farming fortune divided by 100 to determine how much you get on average. It works differently now. They also changed the special rare drops of the crop. So for example, fly pest, it says it drops one of them, but that's not true, because it allegedly drops 3 enchanted hay bale. That's the new enchanted hay bale, which means roughly 70,000 feet from that particular drop. I think this is a very garden change, and concerning that the next part will be before this part, I would like to very much thank you for watching. If you like this video, I think this is everything from garden. If not, I will just put this later on in the video. So yeah, I would like to very much thank you for watching. If you like this video and you don't want to miss the next one, which you probably shouldn't because my schedule is, you know, really weird, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so the, you know, YouTube tells you that I'm doing something. So yeah, thanks for watching, leave a like, and bye.